Hello and welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm gonna see if I can beat Terraria using whips only. Yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so things are gonna start off a bit different this time. The first weapon that I'll be getting is the leather whip, which is bought from the zoologist. And the only way for this NPC to spawn is to enter 53 entries into the bestiary. To get entries, it depends on what type of monster they are. For example, talking to an NPC will count as one entry. Walking near a critter, like a grasshopper or a bunny, will count for another. And also killing monsters will count for one as well. So after chopping down some trees, I went down a cave and did a bit of mining. I also found a pyramid that had the flying carpet inside. When I got back up, it was already nighttime, so I decided to just build some NPC houses. When it turned day, I started mining down towards hell to find some life crystals and other accessories along the way. So at this time, about 29 entries have been entered into the bestiary. Afterwards, I kept mining until I reached hell. Here, I searched for more monsters to put into the bestiary. I went down the jungle and up into the sky as well. Then something very unfortunate happened. I teleported back home and then a goblin army showed up. This meant that no NPCs can spawn. And since I can't really kill enemies with an actual weapon, I decided to use a bucket of lava. After when the goblin army was defeated, the zoologist finally came. So I went over to her and bought the leather whip. Now that I have a weapon, I went back down into the jungle and farmed some stingers, vines, and jungle spores to make the snapthorn that increases my attack speed whenever I hit an enemy. When it turns to night, I summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. I was able to kill the smaller eyes and hit the boss at the same time, which was really nice. I also realized that my attacks poisoned the enemies as well. After I defeated the Eye of Cthulhu, I went down the Crimson and summoned the Brain of Cthulhu. With the whip, I was able to hit most, if not all, of the eyes flying around. After defeating the Brain of Cthulhu, I got enough materials to make the full Crimson armor. When night arrived, I went to the dungeon and built an arena to fight Skeletron. Once I was finished, I summoned the boss. I got rid of both arms first, since by doing so, it does more damage to the head. After I defeated Skeletron, I went down the dungeon and got myself the Cobalt Shield. But that's not the main reason why I came down here. The main reason why is to get bones from these skeletons. With the bones, I made my next whip, the Spinal Tap, which apparently does better against multiple enemies than the other whips, but I didn't really notice it when I was using it. Afterwards, I went back down to Hell and built a bridge for the Wall of Flesh fight, and I also mined some Hellstone as well. With the Hellstone bars, I made the full Molten armor. And now it was time to fight the Wall of Flesh. So after defeating the Wall of Flesh, it didn't drop the weapon that I wanted, which was the Firecracker. so I had to summon it again and defeat it once more. This weapon sets enemies on fire on hit. Afterwards, I broke some crimson altars to spawn in the hard mode ores. I started off mining some palladium, then mithril, and then finally titanium. Once I had enough titanium bars, I made the full titanium armor. It was halfway through the night already, but I decided to just summon the destroyer. At first, I saw that I wasn't doing enough damage to beat it before morning, so I had to use the titanium armor set effect to deal more damage with the shards that spawn around me every time I hit an enemy. After obtaining some hollowed bars, I used them to make the Durendal, and it's kinda like the Snapthorn because it increases attack speed whenever it hits an enemy. I went down the jungle and found my last 2 heart crystals to reach max health. Back up on the surface, it was nighttime, so I summoned the twins. I moved towards the mountain on the right to make the green eye be unable to shoot out its cursed flames, while I could just hit it safely. The next and last mechanical boss that I need to defeat is Skeletron Prime. To make things a little easier for myself, I killed some wyverns for their souls of flight to make demon wings. I went to the jungle afterwards and found the Plantera bulb, so I cleared out an area for an arena. After I was done, I broke the bulb and started the boss fight. And this fight is very easy. All I had to do was just fly around in circles. Once I defeated Plantera, I went down the dungeon to start fighting the hard mode monsters that now spawn to get my next weapon, the Morning Star. It took me 2 hours, just to get it. I got every other weapons and accessories from these mobs. Once I got my hand on this weapon, I noticed it attacked a lot slower than the others, but it did do a lot more damage. Now that I have a better weapon, I went into the jungle and found a temple to summon Golem. Once I defeated Golem, I found a bit more life fruits and then I went over to the dungeon to summon the Lunatic Cultist. My plan is to use the Durendal to increase my attack speed and then switch over to the Morning Star. That way I can hit a lot faster on the Morning Star. After I took care of the Lunatic Cultists, I destroyed all 4 pillars starting with the Vortex, then Nebula, Solar, and finally, Stardust. I then got back home and got ready to fight the last boss, Moonlord. This was definitely one of the hardest fight ever, since this boss had so much health and my weapon does very little damage compared to all the other weapon types. I also had to get rid of its tongue before it could heal itself. It will heal itself by 1000 health if I don't destroy it. And there we go, guys. I beat Terraria using whips only. This video had to be one of the hardest videos to make, especially since I got very unlucky with the Morning Star drop. It took me 2 hours just to get it, and the Moonlord fight was an absolute struggle. It took me so long, but it is all done now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.